And there we are. We are live. Welcome to another OSR Tabletop with myself, GM Bloodworth. And today I am joined by Venger Satanis. So welcome again, Venger. It's been a long time since we've been on the same screen together. I forget which stream it was. It might have even been one with the RPG Pundit back long ago, in a day. So it's been quite a while.
Yeah, could be. Let me just get the door.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a while. It's been probably too long, and I know you're promoting your various conventions. So this year you have two, right? You have the virtual VengerCon 4.5, and then later on in the year, because that's in January, and later on in the year,
Yep.
you have your in-person in Madison, Wisconsin, I believe, correct? That's in July.
Yep.
Yeah, that's in July. But we'll go into more detail with that. But I'll let you, in case there's anybody out there who who doesn't know who you are, let you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your gaming and publishing experience.
Okay. Let's see. Where to begin? Most people probably know me because I try to promote Chalt here and there on social media, and Chalt is my Eldritch Gonzo science fantasy post-apocalyptic campaign setting. It's also got humor, sleaze, pop culture references, and sort of a grindhouse exploitation vibe or aesthetic. And so I've been doing that for the last few years. I think that's probably what I'm most known for now. I also created Alpha Blue and a series of products that end with like a fucking boss, like game mastering like a fucking boss, or play your character like a fucking boss, stuff like that. I'm just kind of a old school OSR type guy, but I do like expanding kind of the boundaries of gaming, especially traditional gaming. And I even get into some sort of story game adjacent territory, which some people don't like or weirds them out or whatever. But I don't know. I like to experiment and see where things go. Yeah, I'm 50. Later this month, I'm going to be 51. That's pretty old. I've been gaming I discovered D&D when I was like 8. So I've been doing this on and off, mostly on, for the last 42 years.
Yeah. So I'm glad you mentioned it, because I think the first thing that I became aware of, that you were producing was, Alpha Blue. So I have this here, and this was the first publication you had.
No, it wasn't the first, but it was early on.
Yeah.
So maybe like the 4th or 5th. I started with Liberation of the Demon Slayer, and then the Islands of Purple Haunted Putrescence, and then somewhere in there was Alpha Blue and How to Game Master Like a Fucking Boss. And then shortly after that, Crimson Dragonslayer and a bunch of others.
Yeah. So and Crimson Dragonslayer is another one of your game systems. All right. That Chalt, although it's not required, to use that system, it's kind of geared towards it. I would say that they kind of go hand in hand. And the first time that I played Crimson Dragonslayer was in your game on, I think it was on Roll20 when you were running that on Roll20, and absolutely loved it. I remember you were throwing a lot of Star Wars references in there, so we were fighting over the Sarlacc, pit and everything, and I was like, wow, this thing is really cool. and that was the same time period that you were still on RPG Pundit and Grim Jim's, vlog or whatever, you
Mhm.
those things. Their regular, schedule was at inappropriate characters. So you're still with them at that time, and so I started buying your stuff, and I have always found that you just have a different perspective. That's, quite honestly, it's you don't get it like that anywhere else. Um, it's much edgier than some, would be ballsy enough to go into, and
Yeah.
and you've certainly, paid some of the price for that too, correct? That's something
Yeah.
that I
I
know.
keep narrowing my
Yeah,
market.
yeah,
Most people try to like expand and go out. I try to like focus in until there's like me and 9 other guys that are really hardcore into that type of thing, and then everybody else is just like, "What the hell is he doing?"
right. So sometimes I've had people say to me, "Oh, well, you're going to get into a smaller and smaller box. Like the more I push towards like OSR or independent and everything, I know, oh, what are you going to do if all you have is, 5 people willing to play at your table?" It's like, I don't need more than 5 people playing at my table. And
That's true.
you
That's very
kind of
true.
got it right there. It's like, I've had as many as 8 or even 10,
Yeah.
and that's pretty cumbersome. I was like, but if you're telling me, hey, you'll only have 5 people at your table for the rest of the time that you're going to game, I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
that's, I don't need more. And
Yeah.
I think that that's sometimes where people on the outside of, whether it's, people such as yourself, and you're producing things that, you like to produce, and you're enjoying, and you're running it and playing it, you have a convention that caters to that kind of game style, because I think it's a game style all on its own, so I'm going to let that segue right into describing VengerCon for someone who doesn't have any idea of what they would see at a VengerCon.
Okay. Um, yeah, VentureCon is really small. Somewhere between, I think we started with 25 people.
Mhm,
Now we're up to a whopping 35 people.
mhm.
And yeah, it's in Wisconsin, right on the border between Sun Prairie and Madison. It's just very, I want to say exclusive. It's focused on the OSR and old school role playing games. Um, but I don't know, it's become kind of a tight knit community. A lot of the you see a lot of the same people, and because it's so small, we're all like in each other's games. So you see the same people over and over again, and you get to
Right.
build up more of a rapport and a friendship, and you get to. It's like when you go to a normal convention and there's just a ton of people and a ton of games. I guess I would liken it to maybe as a musician, like jamming with people that you've never met before, or
Right.
maybe played with once or something.
Mhm.
Um, and it's a different feel playing with people that you aren't used to, that you've become accustomed to, and that you have a vibe with, and you guys kind of know each other's styles, and it's easier to play off of each other and feed off each other, and because you already have that built-in chemistry.
Right.
So that's nice. And I try to do my thing, and I mean I'm kind of at the point where I would like to write down the distillation of like what I do at the table and like how I do it and how someone else could, I guess, read that and then copy that, or kind of, but make it their own, do their own thing,
Right.
but do it like I do, because I've seen a lot of gaming in a lot of places, and nobody really that I found quite does it like I do. And so it'd be nice to kind of, if I could, pass down that knowledge. Not sure exactly where to begin, but pretty soon I'm gonna probably just start writing and see what happens, which is what I do with a lot of products and projects. And hopefully it comes together, and hopefully I can put that out there, and people will like it. And if they want to take some of my wisdom and use it for themselves, they can do that.
Yeah.
Let me get hang on. I got some colors up there because I thought that would be cool. Okay, here we go. So if you can see that.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's the convention in July. That's coming up next year. So that's Friday, July 17th to Sunday, July 19th, 2026.
Right.
So yeah, VengerCon 5, the Will to Power. This is where it is. And then, so yeah, this is on tabletop events. That these people can just go on the convention and look
and check it out. Yeah.
See what that's about.
Now, you use tabletop events for the in-person, and that wasn't going to work for the virtual, or you're just going to use. I know you're going to use your blog page to really promote and organize that, and that's specifically the page on X, correct?
Right. Yeah, I created a little RPG community called Cult of Corthalis, and that's cult spelled with a K. For Corthalis Publishing. And that's kind of where all the organizing is going to happen for the virtual con in January. And it depends on the game master where they want to host their virtual session.
Right.
I will probably just use Roll20 because I'm just familiar with that.
Right.
And it's kind of easy for me, and I'm just going to do what I always do. But some people are going to use Discord, and then other people are going to use X or another platform, which is totally cool. It just depends on, like, there will be a list of games on the X community on Cult of Corthalis.
Right.
And then you find the games you want to be in. Even RPG Pundit, he's gonna be the guest of honor for our virtual con. I asked, he said yes. He asked what's required of him. And I said, if you could just run at least one game, that'd be great. So he's going to be running a game. I'm not sure what format that's going to take. But yeah, people are going to run stuff, and they're going to advertise for their games, and then people are going to sign up, and then it'll be up to the game master to decide kind of where and when that takes place over that weekend.
During that weekend, yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Because I do primarily online gaming anyway. So it's very easy to transition into that and and follow that format. I mean, back earlier on, and pre-COVID, I started with virtual cons before I went to in-person cons. So, I think the first one I did was like in 2018 was Cobalt Con, was the very first convention I did. And, it was strictly online. And I think we organized through Tabletop. Yeah, we did. We organized through Tabletop, but I've also done other cons that they utilized other websites for it as well, or other means of organizing. So yeah, that's going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to it. Your convention is actually coming up. Your virtual convention is coming up before my next in-person one. So yours is my next in line. So I have to start gearing up and seeing which adventure and game system I'm going to use to do it. But eventually I'll get around to doing something set in Chalt. It just, I have so many other things going on, in other game systems I'm really trying to explore and get out there. And Chult is more of a, as much as I like Crimson Dragonslayer, Chult is more of a setting, and and to try to condense that into smaller sessions. I mean, you're able to do it very easily. I guess I could probably do that, but Chult is a mega dungeon, correct? That's the best way to think of each of the 3 volumes in the set.
Yeah, the bulk of the first book is the Black Pyramid, and that is kind of a Gonzo Funhouse mega dungeon. The second one has a bunch of locations and scenarios and random tables, of course.
Right.
But that one doesn't have a mega dungeon. But then book 3, I did go back to the mega dungeon thing, and yeah, that's more underground, like tunnels and caves and things like that, which is kind of what I normally do when I'm running it. Yeah, that's also mega dungeon. So yeah, I mean, the format with like a big book lends itself to doing something larger in scope. And so I wanted to try that, and then I liked it. I want to try it again. So yeah, that's what books 1 and 3 are. Yeah.
Let's see. People use pre-generated characters at these cons. In some cases, yes, they do. I would love to see a list of strange characters Venger could come up with. So, yeah. I
mean, I could, if you want, I could sort of briefly talk through the process of what I do.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay. So, and I've done this for the last couple of VengerCons, and as well the last couple Gary cons, and because I run a lot of Chult there too. So I would, if I'm planning on a group of like, say, 6 players, which is kind of standard for me at a convention, then I probably want to come up with at least 7, probably more like 8 pre-generated characters. So you want a good variety of classes. With Advanced Crimson Dragonslayer, there's only 4, so that's kind of easy. You have at least 2 warriors and 2 priests and 2 thieves and 2 sorcerers. Then you want a good variety of races. You want something fairly standard. And then I always like to throw in something that exists already but is pretty rare and hardly anyone ever plays. Or create something brand new. Like one time there was like I wanted like a tangerine elf, and it was like like they could turn themselves into sort of like orange juice, and they could just like become like liquid orange juice, and then they could like solidify again, and they were orange in color, and there are probably other little things to go with that race too. And then of course you need a motivation. I like to have at least 2 or 3 sentences about that sort of combines where they're from, their motivation and goals, just a little bit about their background or their personality, kind of just what they're like. And then possibly thread in there some connections between other pre-generated characters. And I like to have everybody on one sheet of paper if I can fit it all in, and then hand everybody at the start before the game begins a sheet of paper. That sheet of paper, and then that allows them to read them all kind of at a glance and look at them, and then decide what they want to play, and then they can put their name like there, or I'll just record that on my own in my own notes. And then their counterparts or their companions that they're adventuring with are also right there on that sheet. And they can, be like, Jedediah, like, should we go, enter the dungeon, or should we go to the cantina, get drunk first. Like,
Mhm.
what do you want to do? So they have some of the basic knowledge of that character and the names and such that they would need. So yeah, that's what I do. And I try to just put interesting things in there, different quirks and traits and things that they would do on an adventure, not
Mhm.
necessarily with like, say, the A plot,
Right.
but if there's some sort of like personal quest
Hmm.
or mission that has to do with like their faction that they belong to, um, it gives the character something else to do besides like the main thing. Like
Right.
they have something else that they're also interested in.
Mm.
And I think like having an A and a B, and maybe sometimes a C thing is good because it gives that character variety and more depth, and I feel like it's more immersive, and characters aren't as likely to feel stale or get bored or
Right.
things like that. Um, yeah.
Yeah, it's very hard. Actually, let me grab Crimson Dragonslayer, and I'll talk a little bit about that as well with you. So let's see. And so this one is the 2024. So this is the most recent, I believe, correct?
Yep.
So and I had backed this. It's a funny thing. I backed this on a Kickstarter, and then forgot that I backed it on a Kickstarter. And then when it became available to purchase directly, I was like, all right, I'm getting this now. And then I got that, it
Yeah.
arrived, and then like 2 or 3 days later, the Kickstarter arrived. I was like, well, damn, I didn't even realize I already purchased this thing.
Yeah,
So now
I
I
do
have
that too. Yeah.
so I am going to donate one at ShireCon, which is a nice small convention coming up in September. And so that will be part of my donations, is to put this out there so someone else will have a chance to play this. But what I like about these new ones is that and here you were still advertising for VengerCon 3, so that is in here. But this has the Crimson Escalation in there. Let me see what else is in this. So here we have the Crimson Escalation, which I absolutely love this system. And if you're not aware, or if you don't remember what this was that it starts off on round 1, you get a critical on a 20. All right, and this is just this is a 12 round. So if you're in a combat that lasts 12 rounds, which I don't know if that really gets possible with Crimson Dragonslayer, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
even less
highly
likely.
unlikely. I think in the we just finished the 3rd year
Mhm.
of our Chult campaign. I think the longest combat we've ever had has lasted 7 rounds.
Yeah, yeah. So
Because I also include um, rolling for morale.
all right,
Um, if over half of the enemy forces have been demolished or whatever, I'll throw a morale roll in there because that just seems more realistic to
makes
me
sense. Yeah,
that
yeah.
a group that's being so devastated
Mm,
militarily
yeah.
would probably want to surrender or flee or um, yeah, just retreat,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
But yeah, just because the crit threat level increases by 1 every round.
Right.
Yeah, so that means by round 7, you're looking at anything rolled on a d20 of 13 or above is a crit.
Right.
And especially if the characters have magic weapons or like special abilities
Mm.
that can be tacked onto the crit. Yeah, it can be
Yeah,
really devastating.
it gets really devastating really fast, and but it's just an awesome mechanic. It's something that I think would play well in a convention setting, because then it's like it's just super exciting. And but
Yeah.
you had said earlier, well, I hope that the players are having, are excited. And I was like, there's no way that they're not going to be, with Crimson Dragonslayer and with some of the other things that you have here. Also in this particular printing, you have the 10 Commandments of immersion. You have just like a lot of your other pieces. You have your Chalt X cards that are in
Yep.
here as well, which I really like, because it gets you to thinking of
Hey guys, I'm busy right now. Why don't you
yeah,
go
how can I make
upstairs?
this
Why don't
more
you go
Gonzo?
upstairs? No, I'm here. Why
Yeah,
don't you go upstairs and take the stuff from the playroom back to your bedroom, because you're sleeping in your bedroom now. Yeah. Well, I love you too. At least keep it down. Keep it down. Yeah, you guys probably couldn't hear that, but
yeah,
out
no,
there for the last 5 minutes, they were like,
no
"What?"
problem. Um, so yeah, the cards, so you have your Chalt cards, your version of X cards, and what I like about them is that they don't take away, they put in,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that
Because traditional X
we don't
cards
talk about that.
do take away, and
Yeah,
I wanted to kind of do the reverse of that. Like,
right.
oh, you like this? Like, all right, well, here's a chance to receive more of it,
Yeah,
whatever it is
yeah,
that you like. And I mean, if someone wanted to make that, I excuse me, that idea of their own, they could kind of go in a million different directions.
right.
But for me, and because it's so Chult specific, I took what I consider the 8 aesthetic keys
Mm-hmm.
that make Chult what it is, and I put each one on a card. I remember um, early talks with Drive-Thru back when they wanted to vet every single product
Thing that we were doing, right?
that I came out with, just to make sure that it wouldn't, I don't know, like offend people or make them complain or something. Complain to Drive-Thru about how, I don't know, whatever I was,
Yeah,
awful or something. And I was describing the cards to them, so they would get an idea of what the product was like. I'm like, well, there's like, Eldritch and Gonzo and, Grindhouse Exploitation and
right.
Sleaze. They're like, well, what specifically is going to be like on these cards or whatever, or in the product that would that pertains to these things that you're mentioning. I'm like, oh, that's all it is. It's a card that literally just says sleaze on it,
Right.
or literally just says Gonzo or
Yeah.
pop culture. That's it. The rest is you use your imagination. And they're like, oh, okay, I guess that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's really, it's a prompt for those of you that haven't seen it before, and I highly recommend you check it out and see it.
And I think it's free.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's free
yeah,
on
I'm
Drive-Thru,
sure it's
so
free.
there's no reason not to
A lot of your
download
things
it.
are free actually, which is another great positive. But these are prompts for the game master, to try to change things up or add things in that the players are looking for. So if the player wants to hear something or experience something that's more Gonzo, they'll flash the Gonzo X card, and then the game master will, probably take a few seconds, let's say, to just see how do I make this scenario a little bit more strange, Gonzo,
Right.
or
And then you could
Eldritch,
do it.
or any of those things.
Yeah, you could sort of launch into it like right away, or
Yeah.
you could sort of gear up for it in the next scene or the next encounter. In fact, kind of a slightly different way of utilizing the Chult X cards, which was just from the Chult Hub Day Wednesday night campaign
Mm.
that I'm running on Roll20 these days. One of the players used the sleaze card, stimulated rather the sleaze card, and um, he knew we all knew kind of where things were going ahead of time.
Mhm.
So his use of the sleeves card kind of told me that he wanted that aspect of the game to be more, I don't know, pronounced, or he wanted it to like go somewhere rather than just be like a cheap gag or like a throwaway line, like in a comedy. It's not like a set piece. It's just kind of like maybe something that the actor like ad libs, which a lot of things are as I'm running it and as we're playing. So him stimulating the card told me that this was an aspect of the game that should be beefed up or just given more attention and detail.
Right.
So I did that because that's also a great cue that a player can give a GM to sort of help them, influence them in how the GM directs the scene or the encounter or
Right.
that aspect of the scenario. And so it became like a big part of that session. So that was kind of a way of using them that we hadn't
Right.
kind of done that before. So that was kind of new, and I love that when I come up with a mechanic, a game mechanic that has legs and can kind of lead to other things that I didn't originally intend them to go in.
Right. Oh, sorry about that. But the ads during it, they're supposed to do those at different times, but yeah, sorry about that. They should be skippable for Christ's sakes. Don't know if they are or not, but
The ads?
hopefully, yeah, they should be skippable ads.
Yeah,
You know,
YouTube, puts ads kind of where they
yeah,
want to.
they've been doing them kind of weird lately. So I guess they're in competition too. So it's like whatever it is. But yeah, sorry about that. Doodle Squatch. And welcome, by the way. Welcome to everybody that's been popping in. I've been throwing up your howdies and your questions and whatnot, or some of the things you're looking to do, like you want to make a swashbuckler version of the X cards, the Chalt cards. Yeah, that would be cool too. So make it a little bit more. With swashbuckling, you could do like grittier or more. Make it more. Grim dark or just swashbuckling.
Yeah,
Do something along those lines. So yeah, I mean, I like it. I really was impressed by it. The first time that I read through it, because I was like, this is positive reinforcement. Of rather than take away.
right.
It's saying no, put more of this in there. Because this is what we want at this table, and that's and it shocks me that no one else has ever thought of that. No one else has ever done that. I haven't seen that anywhere else where it's like, hey, I'm going to use these prompt cards to prompt the game master to include something in there. So and that's why I just love reading through your stuff, because you're not going to get, and I'm telling everyone out there, you're not going to find things like this elsewhere. I mean, you just have a different take on how to make that table entertaining and really engaging.
Yeah,
And as somebody who has played in your games twice now, that's something that I hope people get the sense of. That's what you could expect to see if you go to a VengerCon in Madison. Unfortunately for me, it's like I looked at it the first year, and it might have been the first year of it was just after COVID,
yeah,
and
Yeah,
Air
and that's one of the reasons I
airfare was
came up with that
insane.
convention at the time is
Yeah,
because all the other conventions were, you had to wear a mask and you had to
yeah,
do all the things. And I'm like, I don't want to. I want to have a convention now that we're slowly coming out of COVID,
right.
where that's not required, and also
Yeah,
vaccines. Like I don't want to
yeah.
have
The
to keep
card,
getting a
yeah,
booster every
RSVs,
like 4 to 6 months,
right.
just to fucking game at someone else's convention. Um, and so that was another prompt for me to come up with VengerCon because I'm like, I don't want to do
Right.
vaccine mandates and I don't want to do masks because then you might as well just do a virtual convention
Yeah.
because,
And
what's the point?
the crazy thing about that is that you go to the large conventions, you always come out of a large convention sick anyway. You know what I'm saying? I mean, maybe not that,
Sometimes,
but yeah, you're coming out with the crud and everything. I have never gotten sick from a convention, 300 or less people. All right.
yeah,
Not once have I ever gotten sick from a smaller convention.
yeah,
And you know, and like you were saying earlier on, these small conventions, they start to develop a community of the same people, and then once you start leapfrogging around, I've said this over and over again on my channel with other people who go to the same conventions as I do and whatnot. um, we start seeing each other at all of these other smaller conventions, and it's like it becomes a community onto itself. And I'm going to put it out there, that is the true experience of tabletop role playing, is small conventions. You're not going to get that at Gen Con,
no,
or cons of, like, even smaller than Gen Con, but like I think, like, once you get above 5,000,
yeah,
you're you're just lost in the mix of it and everything. You're not going to feel like you can really. I don't know how big Gary Con is. Gary Con's probably around that, right? About four. It's a couple thousand, correct? Gary Con.
I think so. I want to say 4 or 5 thousand.
Yeah,
I don't know how accurate that is, but that's kind of my guess.
yeah. There's
Um,
a large contingent and game hole that wear masks. Honestly, uh, it's for religious purposes at this point.
yeah,
Uh, what you should do is, the next time that there's a game hole, you should go there wearing a VengerCon mask and see if that, because that's kind of what prompted this whole thing, right? Was a controversy
yeah,
supposedly about game hole and flyers for VengerCon. So it was like,
yes.
when I saw that, I was like, I mean, you see flyers for conventions at every convention you go to.
Yeah, I know. And I knew that allegedly,
Mhm.
um, if someone were to put flyers inside the convention, that someone eventually, within, I don't know, a few minutes or a couple hours, that didn't like me or didn't like VentureCon or didn't like non-woke gamers,
Mhm.
that would, pick them up and just throw them away or
Right.
or hide them or whatever ridiculous. It's the same thing if they saw like a Trump sign in someone's yard. They would
Right.
feel compelled to
Yeah.
be like a good citizen or whatever and like
Mm.
destroy it or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, allegedly, someone put VengerCon flyers under windshields in the parking lot at Gamehole Con, and yeah, some people on the Gamehole Facebook group, I think, were all like upset about that and laughing
Right.
about like, oh my God, Venger, he's so whatever, and he sucks, and then that Gamer on Gamers guy. Um, made at least a couple videos about it.
Yeah. Yeah. He
So it
was like,
kind of turned into and then some people on our side, like on the OSR, that are more conservative and normal, um, or at least traditional, picked up the story and then they were talking about it, like Diversity of Dragons and RPG Pundit. So he got a little more traction there, and yeah, I mean, a few more people signed up for badges at
Right.
VengerCon in July than otherwise probably would have. So
Right.
that's even
Well, it
better.
worked. It worked.
Yeah,
It kind of backfired on them. I mean, I mean, Gamers on Games was the one that said, "Hey, you know what? We should do. Anyone who is going to platform VengerCon, Venger, we should make sure that they can't go to that convention either."
yeah.
And my
He's
response,
single-handedly trying to bring cancel culture back
yeah,
into
yeah,
the
yeah.
culture.
He's desperately trying to bring cancer culture back,
Yeah,
and it's not there anymore. I mean, hate to break it,
yeah,
to him, but it's not there anymore. And then individuals such as myself, if someone told me, well, you can't go to my convention because you platformed, someone who is a content creator, and none of this stuff is particularly, offensive or out of bounds or anything like that. I mean, this is not like it's rated R material either. There's just, and to me, it's like really, you're going to tell me as an adult, you're going to tell me an adult that I can't go to your convention because I back some. I don't need to go to that convention. It's just
yeah,
um, it's like people saying, "Oh, if I'm invited to the White House, I wouldn't go." It's like you're not getting invited to the White House anyway. It's like
yeah.
it's not going to happen. It's like no, I don't think that invitation was going out in the first place. So
Right. A lot of musicians said that, and then they did get
yeah,
invited to the White House, and then they
yeah,
went.
yeah. They went.
And then their fans
Yeah,
were like, "Oh, dude, you're sold out." It's like, well, when you get invited to the White House and it's Trump's White House, like, you better believe there's going
mhm,
to be some sort of spectacle or controversy or, um, I don't know, big splashy, huge, whatever. And then, it's going to attract eyeballs, and then you're going to get noticed more, and people are going to be talking about you, and
right.
that's good usually for people's brand or whatever.
So yeah, I remember this with the dollar bounty per flyer.
Yeah.
It's like a
One
up
dollar
to
per flyer.
100, So it's like I guess the person didn't realize that all the person had to do with their flyer is take a picture of it and then
Yeah,
he'd have the info and then
yeah,
hand it to him for $1. I mean, what it just says,
yeah. I
kind of
mean,
show you
if
how.
like let's say there's a flyer on your windshield. If you want to, take that flyer and like crumple it up and like throw it in the trash, like okay, whatever. I know a lot of people probably do that.
Yeah,
But if you are trying to like take other flyers from other cars and other windshields because you've got some sort of like
yeah,
hate boner for a convention or the guy behind it or something, that's just like a whole nother level. That's like TDS level of
yeah. Well, on
anti-Venger or
top of
like
that, once it's on somebody's
VengerCon
windshield,
hatred or
yeah, it's
that's I don't know.
definitely
It's kind of
theirs.
crazy to me, but
Yeah. I would be like, hey, that's my property. If it was on my windshield, who are
I
you
mean, yeah,
to
technically,
take it off of my windshield?
yeah. If it was some sort of like Golden Palace Asian restaurant flyer
Yeah,
on your windshield, what right do you have to like go to someone else's
yeah,
car, like rip that off of their windshield and do whatever you want with it, or throw it away, or give it to a guy that's going to give them $1 for it? That's I don't know. That's fucked up, but whatever. We live in
yeah.
a sick,
Oh,
sad,
yeah,
sometimes hilarious world. Sometimes you can just shake your head and be like, whatever, dude.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you're, especially a small con like that, I mean, they are incredible. Because all you do is you spend the entire time at a small convention gaming, and anytime in between the actual game sessions, you're talking about gaming. There's there's
Yeah,
no other distractions,
yeah,
going on. You don't have to worry about other things. Now, you had some, I mean, you've had some pretty big special guests, right? So,
Yeah, last year
so
we
let's
had
talk about that.
or earlier this year we had Sandy Peterson, and
Right.
that was pretty huge.
Yeah.
And he was signing books and talking to us about stuff, and he ran a scenario, and yeah, he was just a fantastic guest. He brought his sci-fi board game that he's creating or getting ready to market, or maybe it's already out. And people between games, or if they, if something got out early or they were taking a break and they had like an hour or two, they could play in that, and that was really cool. And I'm glad that he brought that, because one game master or one attendee that was signed up to run like two different games couldn't make it to the convention
Right.
because of like personal issues. And so that left kind of a significant hole in the gaming cons, or not gaming con, the VengerCon schedule. I know I picked up the slack, and I tried to run a game to fill in for that slot, but then Sandy had his board game, and that worked out too.
Right.
So
when are you going to collaborate and make Chalt the board game?
oh yeah, that would be that would be crazy. Yeah, I mean, there's big money in board games, I guess. So if someone wants to,
you'd be a big hit in the board gaming community.
yeah,
They're just
I don't know that much about board games because I don't play them that often. But if someone is an expert in board games that makes them, and they want to, I don't know, license Chelt, or they just want to like collaborate on something, I guess I'd probably be down. So yeah, I couldn't hurt to hit me up, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm sure like the miniatures would look pretty cool on it too. I mean, you
Yeah,
get pretty crazy looking stuff there and everything. Anything's possible. It's just
yeah,
that the hardest thing, at least recently, the hardest thing is cardboard and boxes and miniatures and those things. All of the hard product needed
yeah,
for board games and such like that. But
yeah. Well,
yeah,
anything that
I
comes
mean,
from China too is kind
yeah.
of
Well, yeah, that's
fraught with peril.
yeah. uh, Anybody ever do a wellness check on the guy who was MIA? I hope he's
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I talked to him after the convention, and he's like, "Yeah, I couldn't make it or whatever." I think he did email me like beforehand. Um, it just got caught in my spam folder, or I didn't see it leading up to the convention just because I was busy getting ready for it.
Right.
And
Now, sometimes those things happen.
yeah,
Real life gets in the way, and family or just things happen. Like
yeah,
I missed a convention on November 1st, right? So one of the first times that I've actually missed a convention, my wife asked me, she was like, "Listen, you got to drive me to the city. I'm not comfortable going in there, with what we had to do." And she didn't know that I had a convention planned for it, and I wasn't running anything, thankfully. So I was like, I was just
that's good.
going, So I was like, oh, thank God, I wasn't running anything. And so I, reached out to them. Luckily, I had like about 10 days notice, So I reached out to them, and they're like, "Oh, we'll reimburse your badge." I said, "No, you keep it. It's your first convention back into the thing, and just donate it to somebody else if you wish, and I'll certainly make it there next year, but yeah, things happen, sometimes things come up, and you have family obligations or whatever, and you
Yep.
know, um, but it's good to see that VengerCon is growing. Hopefully, it keeps on growing, and becomes larger and larger. I wish it was closer. you know,
Yeah.
uh, like I said, I was going to go that first year, and that first year was probably like 2022, right? Or 2022, I would say, was the first year.
I think the first one was July 2021.
Oh, 2021.
Or
So
wait, maybe it was 22.
it had to be 22 because everything was still shut down. It was so hard to.
Yeah, you're right.
The airfare, just to give you an idea,
Yeah.
it was $800 one way, you know. So I was like,
Wow.
yeah, I was like, because everybody was just jacked up with their prices and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, nope, can't do it. You know, just cannot do it. And then I looked and I was like, holy shit, it's like a 15-hour one-way drive, you know. So
Yeah.
which is the reason
You
why I
know
wanted
what? Yeah.
to go
It's
to GaryCon either, is just it's just too damn far, you know.
yeah.
But
It probably was in 22 because every year
yeah,
we're like the number of the convention is like one behind whatever the
yeah.
year is. Because in 2025 it was VengerCon 4.
Right, right,
In
right.
2026 it's gonna be
Yeah,
VengerCon 5. So yeah, the VengerCon 1 was probably in
22.
2022.
Yeah, it had to be. Yeah, it had
Yeah,
to be. Nothing was opened up. I mean, hotels were barely opened up
yeah,
in 21, you know,
yeah.
leading into 22. But anyway, um, yeah, so hopefully, now what conventions do you go to other than just I know you've already mentioned Gary Con, but any other
Yeah.
conventions that you make yours,
Really, that's
you
it.
know,
Just GaryCon and VengerCon. I
yeah,
used to go to GameholeCon back in the day before there were like making a big deal about the the trans pride progress flag and doing the GameholeCon
yeah,
um, logo in those colors. And then they put on social media that if like this bothers you, if you have a problem with this, like just don't come. Like we don't want you and everything else. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna take that as an invitation to leave and
mm,
not bother attending anymore. You would think a lot more people would have joined me, but I
mm,
guess they don't mind
yeah,
supporting the
yeah,
woke
mm,
commie ideology and transgenderism and pretty much everything else that's destroying or was destroying our country before before we got Trump back in the White House.
right. So Judd here is talking about the New York area for a convention. So that's CNY Con. So that he's probably talking about the Central New York Con, which is probably as close to Wisconsin as you're going to get in New York. You know, so it's up there in the Utica area of New York, and that would be an ideal con for you to get to, you know, if you ever could. And a lot of really great people go out there, like you mentioned, Double D. So Diversity and Dragons. He was there last year. Greg Gillespie was there.
Yep.
Um, and many others. I mean, that was a great first year convention. That I mean, Roger just did a phenomenal job of that, and yeah, I mean, that's gonna keep on growing. He's getting more and more special guests, and so looking forward to that. And yeah, if you could ever get out to there, that would be awesome. And see. I guess some of the ones that are in Ohio are kind of in between, the two as well. So and I forget which one is in Ohio. Um, it's not. I forget
Something
which.
to do with Canton, like
Um,
Canton Con or
Arcon. Yeah, yeah. Arna. No,
Canton,
not
Ohio.
Arcon. No, that's a different one. But anyway, there's one in Ohio, in near Canton, I believe. It's near Canton.
Okay.
Or it could be Cincinnati too. I'm not sure. Somebody will jump in there and say, "Oh, this is the convention it is." Um, Pretty sure reform schoolgirls have been featured in Chultiverse. Don't get it in
Probably.
trouble. Origins is in Origins is in um, Ohio.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, Origins
Yeah,
is
that's a pretty big one.
yeah,
I mean, I used to go to Gen Con back when it was in Milwaukee.
yeah.
That's, a
That
lifetime
was the
ago.
last time I went to. Was in 1980. That was in 1985 or six that I went to that one. So I went to Gen Con 18, and that was in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know what they're up to now.
Yeah, I think they left in the 90s. So
Yeah.
it's been a while.
Yeah.
I got about 5 more minutes. I don't know if everybody
Sure.
has like a last question, or if there's anything GM Bloodworth
So,
you want to ask me about, or have a burning desire to know. I will do my
so
best.
some upcoming projects that you're kind of like, I know you said you're going to start going back to, do some more writing and everything, but
Yeah.
what's the next, probable thing
Um,
that we can
yeah,
see?
but besides trying to capture the Chult experience, or that particular magic of me running something in my
Hmm.
peculiar style. Besides that, I want to do, and I think I'm going to kickstart a project called Pulp Drenched Cities of Chult. And I'm kind of taking this as loose inspiration. That's why I've got it out here, to just sort of like glance at it here and there to get jumping off point ideas. Because Zach's Maze of the Blue Medusa is kind of what inspired me to create the Black Pyramid and Chult itself, because I wanted the campaign setting to go with the mega dungeon. And so I thought it'd be kind of cool if I used his Bornheim complete city kit as the jumping off point for a book on all types of different cities. It doesn't have to be cities, any kind of settlement or underground community, wherever it is on Chult. And even though it's Chult specific, you could use it for any kind of, desert
Right.
gathering of people, nomadic tribes, erecting tents in the desert, or sprawling underground tunnels and caves where people live, things like that. So yeah, it's going to be a whole bunch of random tables and useful advice and things like that on running city adventures,
Right.
specifically for Chult. But like I said, you don't have to. You can kind of
Right.
borrow things and use them in
Right.
other settings and other games.
So I have a question for you here. So when are you going back to Alpha Blue or Space and Gaming?
Um, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I could.
I mean, Alpha Blue is a pretty, this is a pretty, hefty. I mean, it's not like tremendously long, but it's still, it's got everything in here. I mean, there's
Yeah,
a lot in
and
this
back in
system.
the day, I put out, I want to say, a dozen different supplements that have even more random tables and
Right.
adventures and things like that.
Wasn't there a short story, like not a novel, but there was a short story for this?
Um,
Maybe it was on your blog spot, or maybe something along those lines. I recall reading something that read like a short story for Alpha Blue.
Yeah, I might have had something in the blog that was like,
Yeah, that might have been something quite a while ago.
yeah,
But yeah, I got to dig into this again and jump in. So you're saying that there's still some stuff for Alpha Blue out there that are like supplements and such. Is that still on
yeah,
drive through?
yeah. Everything is
Yeah,
on drive through. Sometimes if you want the print on demand soft cover, if you go to Amazon,
yeah,
you can still find Girls Gone Rogue or
yeah. That
Universal.
was one. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was.
Universal Exploits. That's another
Yeah,
one.
I actually
I
have the
think
PDF
Sexual
for that.
Predators
I think.
and
I'm pretty sure I have the PDF for that. Um,
yeah,
yeah, and if you're not familiar, I mean, you can get. I mean, I have so many of your like a fucking like a fucking boss, and all of the various ins and outs of it. So I will just throw those out there. So this is play. So for players, this is the primordial chaos, Gonzo like a fucking boss. So if you want to get into Gonzo, then this is the Chalt experience, designing worlds. So some world building and everything. So yeah, you have a lot of things out there. Game mastery, of course. So you have a lot of things out there that are kind of, if you want to approach the gonzo aspect of it, these are like nice little books on how to go about doing that and how to really get yourself into that mindset, because it's a much like the OSR, it's something that it's kind of hard to put your finger on what exactly it is, and you'll see a number of different interpretations, I would say, of it. And same thing happens with the OSR. I know, and I know you were kind of short on that, but we'll certainly get into that. But I know the one time RPG Pundit was like, this is not OSR. It doesn't have, and if it has the feel of it,
Right.
then, it falls within one of those interpretations. It doesn't have your 6 attribute, system. It doesn't
Right.
have, it has more dice pools here and there,
Yeah.
and various things. But hey, you know what? It really doesn't matter as long as you're having a good time playing whatever you're playing at the table.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
really depends, I think,
yeah,
on what the R stands for in the
right,
OSR.
yeah,
If it really is a renaissance, which is
yeah,
how I take it to be,
hmm
um, you're not so much slavishly copying
mm,
the old masters and the traditions of our forefathers,
mm,
but you are taking the spirit or maybe the ethos of what came before, and you're both updating it for modern times, which gets a bad rap
right,
because of all the reboots, and you
yeah,
can just imagine, like,
yeah,
oh, we're gonna remake Blade Runner, but
yeah, Jesus,
we're gonna put that girl from Snow White in it, or whatever.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Reimagining, yeah, reimagining is code for we're
yeah,
going to fuck this up
yeah,
and make it
nowadays, but
unwatchable, unplayable, and
yeah.
unmemorable as well.
But if you could take that without the negative connotations,
Yeah.
and also try to make it your own,
hmm
then you can take that stuff that was awesome back when we were kids and make it even more awesome and even more according to your taste. Um, and just because a restaurant has their version of and like countless restaurants can have their version of like fettuccine alfredo. If you're cooking at home, or if you happen to open your own restaurant, you can make fettuccine alfredo however you want to do it.
Yeah.
If you keep going further and further out, people are going to be like, "Why is this even called fettuccine alfredo?" Because this is
Yeah.
like bizarre, like
Yeah.
interpretation. But you can still do a lot of different things and create a whole different slew of, I don't know, taste profiles and looks and textures and how it smells and everything else.
Right.
And it's still fettuccine alfredo, but it's your way. And that's kind of how I see the OSR. It's taking those eternal principles and making them your own, and also, I don't know, either revamping them or revising them so you can build upon the successes and the knowledge and the understanding of everything we've been through in the last 40 years,
Yeah.
50 years.
Mm. Okay. So yeah. So eventually, I'm doing my shelf tour, and it's probably like a month away. But by the time I get to that shelf, that I have all of my, all of my edgelord stuff in there. So I'll
The
get
edgelord
more
shelf.
stuff, pundits, and some Grim Gym stuff, and I have all of that on one shelf. So it's like you're in interesting company on that particular shelf. Uh,
That's Hey,
so
that's great. I'll take it.
yeah. So anyway, well, I know you have to run. So thanks a lot, Venger, for coming on. I look
Thanks for
forward
having me.
to following along on the blog and signing up for running some game sessions at VengerCon 4.5. What's
Yes.
what's the name of that? Did that have a separate name for it?
Um, that is a great question.
Yeah, I don't think
Let
it
me
did.
look
Right?
real quick, because if
I
I
have
go
it
on the
on the
Court of
thumbnail, and
Cortalis, the Cult of Cortalis X group,
all right.
virtually awesome.
Oh, virtually awesome.
That's the
All right.
tagline.
Yeah, so that's the tagline. Virtually awesome. So yeah. So
And
and that'll
yeah,
put links.
sponsored by the Red Room,
Yes.
who have a great relationship with, and
Yes.
they're really cool. We're normally on the same page. I
Yeah.
keep meaning to write something for them. I don't know. I've just been busy.
Yeah.
Uh, but and then yeah, the guest of honor will be RPG Pundit. I'll be running a bunch of stuff, and I'm also going to continue of the Cult of Cortalis X group, the Wednesday night Chult campaign on Roll20, the Hump
Mhm.
Day campaign,
Right.
and yeah, the Kickstarter that's hopefully I'm going to launch by the middle of November.
Yeah.
Um, the pulp drenched cities of Chult. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, hopefully people want to attend both the virtual VengerCon and then VengerCon 5 in July, the in-person one in
Yeah.
Wisconsin. Yeah, so thank you. Thank you for having me
Yeah.
on. And
Yeah. And I
yeah,
will
I'll see
certainly
all you guys.
I will put more information out to everyone as that comes, as I become aware of it. I'll put
Okay.
community posts on my YouTube channel. I'll share it out there on X and on the Facebook groups and everything like that. On my own Discord. So you don't. Do you have a Discord? Um, your own
Someone
channel for like.
someone created a Discord for me that I rarely go on. The only time I really go on Discord is Mid Journey,
Yeah.
when I'm tooling around with Mid Journey, creating like AI art things. That platform is on Discord, and so I kind of have to. Otherwise, I don't really like using Discord. I don't really find it intuitive, or I just don't like it, so I don't
Right.
go there. Um, but yeah, I'm on X and Facebook sometimes, and then I'm on Venture's old school gaming blog,
Right.
blogging away.
So that's probably the best place to get up to
Yeah,
date stuff that you're
and
working
even though I
on.
don't use it very much, I do have a YouTube channel. I think that's just Venger Satanis. I don't know.
Yeah.
I try to make videos every once in a while, but sometimes it's a month between videos. So
Yeah. Well, again, thanks a lot for coming on,
you
and
bet.
it's always a pleasure to talk to you and to go through your stuff. And I'm gonna have to dig back into Alpha Blue again and start taking a look at it and see what I can come up with. I know the last time we talked, I was talking about um, halfling 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 prostitutes on trikes shooting machine guns at each other. Yes, those you need all three of those. All three of
Yeah.
the Chalt hardcovers, which are absolute beautiful books. Once I get to my shelf tour of those things, I will be showing those things off big time. Those are incredible. So anyway, thanks a lot.
Awesome.
Everyone, you have a great one. Thanks for stopping in. And I am